The federal government had every right to deploy federal security forces and use force in order to apprehend those implicated in massive corruption and gross human rights violation.
In our updates of today, we shall look at what happened in Tigray region and how the Nobel Peace Prize winner Abiy Ahmed, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, has turned to a warlord. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed had admitted for the first time that the troops from the neighboring Eritrea entered the northern region of Tigray during the conflict that broke out 4 or 5 months ago. Suggestions that have been involved abuse against the civilians. The Prime Minister has been denying for a long time that Eritrean military has entered the Tigray region. The mission on Tuesday came after months of denial from the Ethiopia and Eritrea, even as credible accusation from the human rights group and residents mounted that Eritrean soldiers have carried out a massacre in Tigray. The following of the start of Ethiopian government offensive against the Tigray People Liberation Front (TPLF), then the region government party. In a wide-ranging speech to a parliament, Abiy Ahmed said on Tuesday Eritrean troops has crossed the border and entered the region because they were concerned they will be attacked by the legitimate foe of TPLF, which dominated the Ethiopian politics for a decade until Abiy came to power in 2018. He presided over the brutal of 1998 to 2000 war with Eritrea. Abiy said the Eritrean has promised to leave when the Ethiopian military was able to control the border. He added that the Eritrean people and the government did lasting favor to our soldiers during the conflict without giving more details. However, after the Eritrean army crossed the border and was operating in Ethiopia, any damage it did to our people was unacceptable. He said, "We don't accept it because it is the Eritrean army and we will not accept it. If it is our soldiers, the military campaign was against our clearly targeted enemies, not against the people. We have discussed this 4 or 5 times with the Eritrean government." The comment also marked the first time Abiy appeared to acknowledge that serious crimes have taken place in Tigray, home to 6 million people. Reports indicate that the atrocities have been committed in Tigray region. Abiy Ahmed said, "War is a nasty thing," he added, speaking local Amharic language. "We know the destruction this war has caused." After months of tension, fighting erupted in Tigray after the forces loyal to TPLF, whose leaders challenged Abiy's legitimacy after the postponement of the election last year, attacked army bases across the region overnight and in early hours of 4th November. Abiy accused the TPLF leaders of drumming a war narrative, while the area faces the challenges such as destructive invasion of locusts and the COVID-19 pandemic. The Ethiopian Prime Minister, who won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2019 for his effort to make peace with Eritrea, faces the pressure to end the conflict in Tigray as well as to institute the international investigation into alleged war crimes. The government critics say as a continued federal inquiry is not enough because the government cannot effectively investigate itself. On Monday, the heads of the 9 UN agencies and the other officials demanded a halt on attacks against civilians in Tigray, including rape and other horrific forms of sexual violence. In a joint statement, the UN agencies and the UN Special Investigators on the Human Rights of Internally Displaced People and the 2 umbrella organizations representing NGOs also called all parties in Tigray to explicitly condemn all the sexual violence and ensure their forces respect and protect civilians, particularly women and children, from all human rights abuses. Earlier this month, Human Rights Watch reported that the Eritrean forces shot dead hundreds of children and civilians in a November massacre in Tigray. An Amnesty International investigation into the same event detailed how the Eritrean troops went on a rampage and systematically killed hundreds of civilians in a cold blood. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres joined a calls for the Eritrean troops to leave the Tigray, while the UN Human Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet urged an investigation into the situation. Aimed worsening humanitarian situation in Tigray region of Ethiopia report indicate that a targeted attack against the civilians, including rape and other horrific forms of sexual violence, continue to serve. This must stop, said in Geneva. We call all the state and non-state parties to the conflict to fulfill their obligation under the international humanitarian and human rights law, ensure their forces respect and protect civilian population, particularly women and children, from all human rights abuses, explicitly condemn all the sexual violence and take action to bring perpetrators to justice where abuse can do occur. Women and children in affected areas are reported significant challenges in accessing health, social welfare, and justice service. In Somalia, report the fugitive minister rashid Janan has surrendered his military to the federal government of Somalia. That led to celebration in the border town of Beledhout that bordering the Kenya and Somalia. Despite the agreement he made with the federal government of Somalia, Amnesty International has requested for the arrest of the former minister due to the war crime against the civilians that live in Gedo region that he made during his era. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel.